personally, bro, I love the way how you philosophize and break down all things.
There's like you gotta there's the like I'm not a frosty guy. Like you can't just frost things up. Like I like to talk in different layers because those are the thoughts which comes in everyone's brain, and I don't speak out of my ass because like it has came to my mind and it still comes to my mind. So I believe that at least 80% people would resonate with it. So why not actually break it down and make it both for anybody who's listening? And
Mm.
because like when I'm saying it, I'm talking to you literally. I'm kind of like finding so many things about myself. I always do podcasts for a very selfish reason because when I'm talking and sharing, I find a lot of different things about myself.
Yeah, so Ayush, the next question I have for you is like how I know you have been involved into few Oscar-winning movies, right?
I've worked with people who have been in Oscar-winning films, and I have produced films in which these people have worked and have been a lead part of it. And I haven't really worked on any film which won an Oscar yet.
Okay, okay, no worries. So, but the question is like what does it takes to become a top level or top next level producer?
I think making more films,
Okay.
doing more things. I think a big part of producing is to understand so many different aspects, like screenwriting, which is the top and the most important thing. So the more you read different screenplays, the more there's a lot of stakes involved in it. And to be very honest with you, I'm somebody who is I've you know, like I don't think I've really actually even started with this thing because this I'm still in the category where I'm into a short form content and content. Fuck, I hate this word, but I'm more into like short form storytelling as of now. You know, like either doing commercials or either doing short films or in part bigger productions, but not somebody who is making big decisions on day-to-day basis, but somebody who's actually following orders from people who already know their stuff and getting to things done, which is good because it's just a process. And tomorrow, if I get to do it again, but the point being, how to be a good producer, I think just make sure you're doing good in the next film. There's no other way.
Yeah, so you're basically saying like if you want to be a good producer, you have to do personal branding or you have to somehow involve into personal branding. Is it what you're saying by building a good network and things?
No, what
Okay.
I'm a good producer is, of course, network is important, being a good
Mhm.
producer, because your network really helps you in terms of getting different things on board, like a good writer on board and getting different people on board. So networking is the thing. Like in any business you go, there's no question about that. And the personal branding is a different question with that. Okay, but if to just to answer film producer, it's like a different thing. Personal branding is more like an identity card of that producer, then that how that person use it. So what I figured out for my I could only speak of few things, which is like when you are doing multiple things at the same time and making it as a part of your personal brand, the different kind of stuff you do, and people realize, or the consumer start to see that there's a wide array of things which are happening at the same time. So when you sit in a room which is full of different talent, and or when you are at a place which is full of different things, there's no sense in objectifying it. That like a personal brand is you. There's nothing different in that. It's just that when you're on social media, it gives you a way of channeling it into or distributing it into different platforms. That's all. But a personal brand is nothing less than you. So I could be a person who has done a good amount of work, and how it can really help me 20 years down the lane is that I have, as a part of my personal branding or as part of me and putting out a lot of good and different content, 20 years down the lane, I could literally start the slate with my name on it and could gain a good amount of audience who really like and follow my work. So it's more like that. When you don't have work, you create work for yourself. So for me personally, I what I'm trying to do, and this is funny, like think about it. So I'm just gonna say it as it goes out because it's probably where I see leading myself to. Because I enjoy telling stories so much. So there's so many different, funny, nice, put out everything that I do and probably create my own audience in my own community. And look what happens in 30 years. And then she gets really annoyed. She's like, 30 years, I won't be even alive. What do you mean 30 years? I'm like, if you really want to see something good, wait for 30 years. Because like I'm taking a big goal. I want to connect on personal level with people I talk to. Like, for example, you. See, you might like me as a person, but you might just not like my film, you know? And then you're in this question that, no, he's a good person, but I don't like the kind of films he
Mm.
make.
Yeah.
Happy with that. Maybe somebody doesn't like me, but somebody likes the films that I make, or the films that I'm part of. There's also a bad side of it is like I don't like the bravado of this person, so I'm not going person is not going to work with me. So there's not only a good side. There's a good side, there's a bad side, but it's all about you. Simple as that. Personal branding is you. Now the question is how you use you to advance your own agenda to kind of like get different things done and network with different people. It's very interlinked and interconnected, but there is no one way to it.
So I was saying, like, in the starting of the podcast, I told you the motive of doing this podcast is to help mainly millennials and other people as well. So my next question to you is related to freelancing and the things you do. Apart from your work, sometimes you do freelancing, right? So how to sell ourselves or our service in the international marketplace?
So first of all, you gotta make sure that just to address the international market thing. First of all, don't forget that where you come from and your values are super important, and that is really what is going to get you work on the international market, because that is unique to those people. So make sure you don't lose your values. And what I mean by values is like of course, you gotta bump up your work ethic, because a lot of Indians don't have great work ethic. Let's be very honest with that. But if anybody else who's international, somebody Colombia who wants to work in New York, I think the most important thing is your trait while growing up. What was one thing which really made you distinct from other people, and then infuse that with the service which you are providing. So at the same time, audit that wherever you're going to provide your service, does anybody else is providing the same service? And if they are, then why would that person hire you but not other person? Because there's also language barrier, whether we understand it or not. But the community is a big part of actually getting work, because you want to be relatable. It's just not work. Then you just become a work puppet, which I kind of realized. Because like when I moved to US, I'm from the first 1.5, 2 years, I didn't care about work. I only cared about understanding the community and getting to know people more and to relate people more. And that's one of the reason I've been able to get work till now. So first most values, it's important wherever you come from, whatever you have done, whatever you have learned, those are important. Figure out a way to translate it and communicate into the language which you're trying to approach. If it's English, if it's French, or wherever you're working. B, understand the community, understand the organization, understand the overall infrastructure of thought chain, how people think of like that, because it really does help you. It helps on a psychological level to pitch yourself on. And C, provide good work. Good work never have any substitution. If you can provide good work. It's important to keep all these three things hand in hand. You have to provide good work if somebody really wants to hire you. It's not hard. Anybody can work anywhere. The question is how much they're really working towards hustling and trying to get this thing done. It's possible. And these are the way which have worked for me. If you have any good way, just DM me on Instagram. I would love to hear it.
Super, man. Solid one. So, Ayush, I got a personal question for you. I think you have been to Caribbean
Yeah.
office few times, right?
I went twice.
So the question is like, what do you like the most? Like, is it the speed of the work they are doing, or the culture, the work ethic? Like, what exactly you like most about Vayner Media?
Started, you have to like the person, because the person dictates a lot of values. So he has been so open about the things that he do, and started spreading so many of different messages that whose values align with his values, or in another way, people who wanted to be in the position where they can make decisions similar to him started joining him. Like a lot of my values aligns with him, and his values aligns with, like, for example, first of all, being a bad student. I was a very bad student, being judged all the time for being a bad student. That too, a lot of different things I connect with on a different level. But just as a human, I think I think I'm just a good human. Like, I could see it, and extremely hardworking. And everybody has their own different stories. Some people are handed things, some people are not handed things, some people have few different things in their hand. But it's all about how you do with what you already have, rather than complaining. And that's one thing which I align a lot with. So to me, it looks, what you see looks huge, but that's where the tricky part is. It's not really huge, like as a part of organization, like how other people see is like 900 people working and stuff like that. But what I could see is that 900 people working really tight with each other, and as a like really getting things done. You know what I mean? So to me, it was surreal being in his office, because I was manifesting that for years. Like, I've never been fanboyed by anyone ever. Like I said, I'm my own leader in my team. How, and and in my own story, Gary Vee is like a person who I kind of reflect with, kind of like I want to shake hands with him. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got love
Yeah,
for you. It's
yeah.
it's like it's and then and if there's only one person in this world who you really admire, and then when you go to his place and you see it. So it just feels surreal, because for me it's personal in a way that I was manifesting the moment and I was being able to reach there. So it's kind of like again, from a very selfish perspective, something happy for me, like something I'm like, okay, you can get things done. It's just a matter of believing in yourself. And then when you see people like Gary who have a very interesting story, and then when you see yourself, you just need to put a great amount of work in it. Like for example, right now I'm 25, he's on 45. Talks about a lot of different things what he has done, and then you instantly connect with it. I don't consume everything, and yeah, so like going to his office was good. I'm kind of like friends with a lot of people from his team, and they're really kind, they're really nice. Again, this also brings down to networking. So I was being able to network with them because I actually started doing this stuff. So my questions became more genuine. I haven't applied to work at his office or to work under him or anything like that. I have inquired about what do these guys do and stuff like that. But on a personal level, I wanted to do more of different things at the same time rather than just get deep into content creation and
Mm.
stuff like that. So this fascination, and if given opportunity someday, then maybe. But that's not what I think about right now. To
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
This
And you just,
fascination.
yeah, you just mentioned you just don't want to cover yourself in the foundation of content creation and things like that. But you also talk about AI industry, VR, and gaming as well. So I want to know like how you are leveraging technology or AI into filming and production.
So this is what's happening with the AI world right now. There's so many different sections of AI, and how does one do it and stuff. What I try to focus right now is that what are some divisions in which AI is actually transforming people's life? Because at the same time, within years, like right now, I'm in a huge side studies right now involved learning more about AI, AR, VR, and different stuff. So I was part of two really huge conference here in New York, which talks about AI, and that was my gateway into understanding what things were, because there I ended up making a lot of connections. And I realized that what these guys are doing is basically taking human thinking on a different level, like converting into different things. It's no fucking science shit. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different stuff happening inside it, but it's basically putting your own brain into machine learning, which then becomes artificial intelligence. And there's no big, for anybody who doesn't know what the fuck AI is, it's basically like, let's say there are certain patterns which you recognize, you put it into machine, like as a machine learning, which converts into an artificial intelligence. So let's say when you are entering a door, when you're entering somewhere, it opens because it sees you. That's very basic, but imagine taking it like 10 times higher into industries. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just understanding different industries. So when I'm like 35 or 38 or 40 and I have like little bit more money, and if I could invest into something which I understand would be, then I'll do it. As far as VR is concerned, it's like there's so much to talk about VR. It could be a different podcast, but it's the like you'll start seeing a lot more of that on airports and other places where people are just have got their goggles in and they're conversing and doing it. We don't see so much of it because people are not really putting out so much, but it's huge. VR is huge. It's definitely going on, and we've been looking at AR in a lot of different ways. When you look at like different Instagram filters, different things going on. So these are just going to increase interaction, and anything that increases interaction has my immediate attention. So I'm not into like designing fucking computers. If I see some software which will help me interacting with different people, I would like to know that. Not necessarily apply it if I don't want to, but I'm a curious person, and that it just enables me to see these all things. Here's the thing, Ayush, when you have your footstep in different doors, but also at the same time, you know what the fuck you are doing, it just gives you a lot of permission to, like try different shit. And especially people like our age, 24, 25, or you're still fucking young. What are you, 19, right? So yeah, I saw it on Instagram this morning. I'm like, what, this guy's 19? But like different facades of your life, actually different facets of your life, facades, whatever the fuck, gives you a lot of liberty to try and understand more of yourself. Like, when I see, I'm again gonna go into this zone because a lot of people were wondering right now and thinking that, fuck, why don't I pay attention to it? Because when you were growing up, when you were 9, 10th, first of all, you were in a stupid choice when you were in 9th standard, pick between two subjects and you had no fucking idea about. Then again, same happened when you were in 11th standard, and then you chose, said, hey, I'm not really fucking passionate about, but you want to tell other people that, hey, I'm passionate about this. Oh, I'm doing this. I'm settling. Like everybody's fucking. It drives me India. There's one thing which really drives me crazy. It's like when people are 19, 20, 21, 22, they're just talking about, yeah, my life is settled. Like, oh, you work with your dad. Yeah, your life is settled. Like, what the fuck does settled means? And and why do you talk about why is settlement so important? Like, even
I
like
know.
your family members and like other people say, no, you should get settled right now. For what, bitch? Like, and the moment you have the word settled in your brain, subconsciously also involved, you're finished. You're finished. Because then you don't want to take new leap. You don't want to try something new. You don't want to get into a different direction where you might just be able to try new things. Like, I don't know if you saw my Instagram post last night. I literally posted that like too young to settle and care. Like, I don't know. Don't do it, guys. Get yourself into a mind. But yeah, anyways, that's how I am into AI, AR, and VR world. Like, it's my side hustle.
Got it.
It's my knowledge. There's no immediate monetization out of it. There's no revenue out of it, but it's gonna play out really well in the future for me. Even cannabis. Like, I'm really interested in cannabis in
We
industry.
we we have to do a podcast on cannabis, probably part two of it. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. All right. All right. So, I also want to know like some of your favorite.
I'll tell you the genres which I've introduced. Because like if I start naming them, I'm probably gonna pronounce their name wrong. That's kind of playing it safe before I put it on record. And 10 years down the lane, somebody look at this clip and say, "What the fuck, bro?" So like I'm like huge into people who involve into action genres, flying those planes and getting those stunts done, doing different kind of stuff. So I have a huge amount of respect for people who produce things like Extraction, Mission Impossible, or even like the old war movies, because there's so much involved in that. So there's I like producers who really like to play it out, like was like who like taking risks. You know what? Fuck this shit.
Mm,
Like let's get, you wanted 3 planes to blow up in a war scene. Let's bring fucking 40 planes if it adds enough to the story and blow them all. So like I like those kind of producers. I watch very less films, and it's often being a filmmaker, it's like, oh wow, you should be watching a lot of films. Why do you watch less films? And like I try to watch as much films as possible, but I'm more into my own zone. Like, okay, what kind of story I like to tell and stuff like that. I mean, it's never bad to watch, but like I'm more of a genre thing. Like if today I'm feeling like, okay, fuck, I want to like get into something action, like watch some really nice action film like Breaking Bones, and like good sound music and nice SFX and things going from different great camera angles and good like really good acting and stuff like that. It depends. Like it completely depends. Like in morning I'll start with a romantic movie, and by the end of the day I might be some war movie, and my friends will be like, what the fuck, make up your mind. Like, so it's different. I'm getting huge into TV shows though, like TV series and stuff like that. And there's definitely something I see myself doing within next 3 years, 3 to 5 years, in something with the TV industry, like the small web series and all of that stuff. Right now I'm just auditing different stuff. I'm maybe buying myself more time to understand what I really want to do before I started taking huge step into it.
but
So
Ayush,
yeah.
this is not recommendable. I think this is not recommendable in the starting for people to not watch films.
No. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just throwing in what I do. Like I read screenplays. So for me, it's different. Every week I'm reading screenplays. I read 3 to 4 screenplays every week. And then once I read the screenplay, maybe 2 months. So, I mean, to address that question in a very genuine way, what I personally like find myself beneficial doing is reading a screenplay and maybe later on going and watching the story. There's anything if you really want to be a filmmaker, more than watching films, the best thing to do is to actually go out and make a film. And of course, when you watch film, you learn a lot of new different things. But there's like 40 fucking directors, but there's just 40 known directors. Because like these 40 known directors didn't really give enough fuck about other directors who made films before them. So you can watch a lot of films. Like you really need to watch a lot of films, but I'm not focusing or emphasizing more on that, because then what people do is they just fucking watch. Like then you don't go out and make Quentin Tarantino did this, and why should maybe I should not do this and stuff like that. Like you have to watch enough films, but also not to an extent where you dilute your own abilities to make it. And a lot of them there, because they're just consuming, and then they've set the standard so high because they don't see like these directors who made 40 other films which didn't work, but they're just considering those 8 films which did well. And now because the instant comparison is like fucking moon and earth, and now you can't even get any shit done. So That's the reason I'm saying, like, watch films. Like, of course you gotta watch them. You understand so many different things. You learn from different people. But most important, go out and make one from your phone, from your camera, from any fucking thing. Like, rent something. Like, get a rental house on Friday because they don't accept your orders back on Saturday and Sundays. So for paying for one day, you get to organize a fundraiser. Or there's so many different ways. But my point being, like, if you want to make, go and make films. Simple as that. Watch as much as you can, but don't just like fucking watch. Like, go out and make. Not every film is Oscar, Like, everybody makes film that they're gonna win Oscar.
That's true. That's true. I mean, yeah, that's really important. So Ayush, I want to know. You actually mentioned few future plans of yours, but I want to know more about that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how it's going to be like? What are some of your future plans?
I think there are two things which goes hand in hand for me, like my professional future plans and they both are very much interlinked. And one of my top plan for, so I basically count everything within two time frames. Three, what are my plans for today? What are my plans for next 5 years? And what are my plans for next 20 years? And generally, I don't disclose my plans for next 5 years, but I like to talk about my plans for 20 years. My plan for next 20 years is to just grow my network as much as possible, to understand more of human behaviors and understand human on more deep level. Because when I understand on deep level, it gives me a lot of characters. I get to know more different characters, and each and that is your film right then and there. Like, to me, my films is about my experiences and things I've seen, or I know things are possible within by joining different characters. Like, I might use it someday in one of my film's character, somehow or the other, and then you'll come suing me. What the fuck are you? So it's like for me, my next 20 years plan is to actually and get to know myself more better. That what kind of stories do I really want to tell? Because I think I am also playing a long game of legacy. So if there's anything I want to leave this really good stories with someone say or help someone with something, or it could just be a comedy series. So I'm excited about knowing more of the things personally on different human level, because that helps me huge on professional level. Like, I never have to work on that. The more I work on my personal self, the more my professional world grows. And that's why I said it goes hand. Now, of course, in between there could be some company, or there could be change in job, or there could be any kind of new venture. And that, but the value, the base, the core value of mine is this: like, just connecting and understanding humans more in a kinder and better way. And yeah, I guess pretty much that. But as things goes on, I'll definitely publish more stuff on LinkedIn, I guess. That's what it is. I can't it is what it is
Okay,
right now
okay,
for me.
brilliant, bro, brilliant. So, we're gonna wrap the podcast, but before that, I want, like, if I just want to ask, like, if you have any special message for our audience, for our listeners, you can convey that.
Let me get a little bit perspective here. Like, what kind of audience
Millennials, bro,
do you have?
millennials.
Young listeners, or what's the age group like right now? All the
From
millennials, right?
Yeah, mostly millennials.
Guys, one thing real important, you might just have heard it in a lot of books and a lot of influential, and a lot of people saying it, that when you work hard, you get your things. You also need to work smart when you get your things. But here's the thing, let's step deep into it. Working hard and working smart is important. Definitely, you got to do it. But one thing which is really important and nobody talks about it, or few people talks about it, Gary especially talk, finding out who you are and what are the things you do. Don't ever understand where you come from, what are the circumstances you've been brought up in, your parenting, your other stuff, your friends, everything. Because the thing which really constructed you. If you're not happy about it, address it in the best way you can. But the only way to move forward is the next thing. So find out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. If something doesn't work for you, didn't work for you, don't fucking cry over it. Try next thing which works for you. And I think the most important thing anybody should do right now is just start doing. There is no other thing, which we all know that, we have heard that. But the next thing is the thing. Simple as that. So if you're stuck somewhere right now, if you don't know where to start, look at your statement of years within yourself. See what are the things you have liked, what are the things you haven't liked, what are the things you have learned, and have a real conversation with yourself. Like, don't think about what your mother will think, your dad will think, your friends will think. Have real sit down with yourself. Like, have your own staff meeting with your own mind and think about it. But start doing it. And if you are in a financial hardship, it's tough. Like if you pay somebody's hospital bills, you got to pay somebody's tuition bills, and there are things which are tough for you. We all have our own issues and problems in life. See, nobody talks about financial literacy. Money is an important part. You need it. You wants it, and I know people talk about it. All money. Yes, that's true, but also to have that passion and to pay for that passion, you often need to deploy your own funds. So make sure you don't get into a situation where you have a lot of liabilities and less asset. You really need to buy a different phone which can help you towards your finance. Make sure you go towards your finance, because finances are important. Educated yourself financial wise. School doesn't do it. Nobody else does it. Your money needs to be managed, and it's important because it is going to allow you to do the stuff that you want to do. So find out a way with which you can also make some money. I think that's all. Because yeah, be happy, be smile, and
Yeah,
don't wait to it. It's always tomorrow, but don't waste your day. Don't waste it today. Today is important. Tomorrow is not guaranteed, but account for it. That's all I gotta say, guys. That's it.
thank you, Ayush. And if you guys feel you're not doing enough, just give yourself or start giving yourself homework.
Yeah, definitely. Don't judge yourself, man. People judge themselves. Dr. Madgiv, he always tells me that Ayush, you're really hard on yourself. Like you
Mhm.
have to be less hard on yourself. I think about it, and it's true. You know, like you fall in that rut, you do it. So, guys, I don't know shit. I don't know jack shit. Let's be honest. Like I don't know jack shit about your life. I really don't, and I'm in no position to tell you that oh you should do this. I'm not even in a position to tell my fucking younger brother that what he should do. I cannot. It's just not me. I cannot tell you. Even Ayush can't tell you. Even his podcast cannot tell you. Only you know what the fuck you want to do. And if you don't know that, like in podcasts like this, where you listen to similar stories, helped you. But don't assume that after listening to this podcast tomorrow you're going to do and break some balls. It doesn't start like that. It will start with your mindset and addressing the things which have stopped you. There's no other way around.
Totally, man. Totally.
You can listen to like 20,000 podcasts of some great people and get that motivation, but like I said, motivation is temporary. You really need to inspire yourself before anybody else can do it for you. I'm always happy to answer DMs and stuff like that. So if anybody stayed on till the end and have any questions, feel free to DM me. It's AYUS, not connect with Ayush. It's AYUSH_SONI. Make sure you get that username right. And yeah, like I mean, I don't know. Add me on Twitter, and I'm also heavy on TikTok, but I heard it's banned in India, so I don't know what you should do. But if you have any questions, DM me. And often, one thing I've started a conversation with a lot of different people. I just talk with them. If anybody's into filmmaking or just in general want to have a conversation, like I'm very happy to like talk for 15, 20, 25 minutes, whatever, whenever it could be.
Sure, bro.
That's it.
Sure. Yeah, Ayush, I'm really thankful to you, and thank you so much for doing and taking out time. I'll drop all the links you mentioned in the description so that it will be easy for all the listeners and viewers to find the link. Yeah.
Yes, awesome. Thank you very much, Ayush. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm really excited for what you do in the future. Happy to. I'm quite sad that you stole my name, but otherwise, I'm happy to know you.
Lovely, lovely.